Governor, obviously with all these talk of cuts, there's the human side to this, so what do you say to the people who have just been hired, or who think they've just been hired by these directors, and now they're gonna have to get the phone call to say, we don't want you?
First of all, I'm sorry about the way things have been mismanaged, but we're gonna do things differently. We're gonna restore stability and predictability, and we're gonna do advanced planning. That's why for the future, we're not gonna have these things happen. I can't help what's happened in the past, but I came here to correct this mess and to straighten out the financial situation in this state and make sure that we have a sustainable budget for the long term. That's why we're doing what we're doing. And it's going to be somewhat painful. And I want to be very honest and open and upfront with people. That's just the situation that we have to deal with. But we're going to try to do it in the most fair and thoughtful and humane way possible. But we are going to do it. And the result of it will be stability and predictability and a much more sustainable budget, and obviously one that makes it possible for Iowa to be more competitive. And the focus is going to be on growing jobs and bringing more jobs to the state of Iowa, and that's going to be the focus of our administration. But we do have the responsibility of putting the budget together, and the law requires that I submit it before the end of January, and we're going to do that, and it's going to be a biennial budget, and we're going to do the very best we can with the very limited resources that we have, considering the circumstances.
Governor, since you're talking publicly about laying off some of these new hires, surely you have an idea of how many people you're talking about?
No, we don't at this point. We're still trying to get our hands around how many people have been hired, and we have department heads that are on the job for the first day today. They're brand new, but I think there is some benefit of having new people. You know, I always said about winning election campaigns, you know, recruit people that don't know that it can't be done, because they find a way to get it accomplished. And I think that's part of the idea of bringing back, in some cases, we're bringing back experienced hands like Chuck Palmer, who I think can do a tremendous job, because he did before. He was the best director of human services we ever had. He kept Medicaid under control the last 8 years that I was governor before. But I know he's not a miracle worker. He can only do so much, and he's inheriting an agency where a lot of the Medicaid money came from one-time expenses, and yet it's a very sensitive program, and we've got somebody that's very sensitive, but also is a good fiscal manager to do that. In some cases, we have some new department directors that are coming in and have a whole new, fresh perspective from the outside. We have Leon Shear, who's also, we've asked him to review the whole the whole relationship between state government and the public employee organizations, and give us a report and recommendations dealing with that. We expect to receive that in the very near future. So we're going to do things really different, and it means we're going to have to make some tough decisions, but we also are trying to get as much input as we can and be very open and transparent about this process. That's why we've had the town meetings around the state, to listen to people and get their ideas. And in this process of reducing the size of government, we want to give more flexibility to the people that are delivering the services, whether they're in local government or state government, because we know with more flexibility, they're in a better position to make good decisions.
Can you address some of these specifics in House File 45?
Now, I don't want to go through all the details of specific legislation. I do respect and appreciate the legislative process and the fact that legislators have worked hard to put together a plan to reduce the cost of government, and I'm very appreciative of what they're doing, and Craig Paulson and Linda Upmeyer's leadership, and I intend to meet regularly with them and listen to them and work with them, but I'm not going to try to micromanage or comment on every single section of every bill that is presented to the legislature. I've been around long enough to know that that's not the executive's role, that's the legislative role. But I will work with them, and I want to have a close working relationship with both House and Senate, and with both Republicans and Democrats. We will meet regularly with them and to stay informed and involved. And we also want to share with them where we are in the decision-making process, So there's not going to be big surprises in our budget as we present it to them, because we know together we're going to have a lot of tough decisions to make this year.
Governor, would it be fair to say that you don't agree with all the cuts they're proposing, and that you're not on the same page with House Republicans?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say that I'm very appreciative of the effort that they've gone through, and I respect the legislative process, and I recognize that in the legislative process, oftentimes bills don't end the way they start. Changes and refinements occur through the process. But I'm appreciative of the fact that they've taken up this important issue right off the bat, that they ran on the same platform that we did, that we have too much government, but we can't afford to continue to do business as usual. We have to have a long-term strategic plan to get the state's finances in order, and that means we've got to make some tough upfront decisions in terms of spending. And I'm very appreciative they're doing that, not a meat axe across the board cut, not cutting the budget halfway through the fiscal year, as we've seen just done by the previous administration. That's not the way things should operate, and that's why I'm very appreciative of the approach that they're taking, and want to work with them through the process.
Final question. Great, thank you, Governor.
Okay.